Hello, welcome to the Telegraph Studios, where we're joined by
Robby Lou, Barcelona fanboy and YouTube extraordinaire.
and we're going to predict the whole tournament using the Telegraph's Euro 2024 predictor.
Well, thank you, Sam, for those very generous and correct words. When you had Jamie Carragher on this show, he made some very reasonable predictions for this year's Euro tournament. I'm going to be making the correct predictions today. So it turns out the Telegraph team kicked me out once they realized I was not, in fact, Frankie de Jong, but that doesn't mean we can't continue our predictions. Starting off with Group A, it's a pretty interesting combination of teams with Germany, Scotland, Hungary, and Switzerland, but honestly, I think it's pretty clear who's coming out on top. Germany, they've come into form a little bit in recent months under Nagelsmann, playing a more narrow front three with Musiala, Gundogan, usually Havertz, and Wirtz as well, all playing together. It looks pretty interesting. It's exciting football, and so I have them at the top of the group. I'm gonna put Scotland in second, Hungary in third, and Switzerland in fourth. I think it could go anyway, but I think Scotland always brings some energy to this tournament. I don't think they're particularly great, but I don't think Hungary or Switzerland are either, but I could see either two of those other clubs going through. But in Group B, it gets a little bit more interesting to me as I have a much better understanding of the Spanish football team as well as Italy and Croatia as well. Albania, I don't expect a lot from them. I think they're pretty clearly going to come in fourth. The rest of the spots, though, I think it could go anyway. I have a feeling it will be Spain. They've been pretty poor in tournaments in recent history, and there is still a lot of quality in the side. I think they could be underdogs this year. I'm probably a little bit biased, but I'm going to have them winning the group. I'm going to have Italy coming in second and Croatia coming in third. I don't think Italy are great, but I don't think Croatia are the same team that they were a few years ago either. I think it could flip-flop, but for the most part, I think Spain are going to win this group, and then anything else can happen between the next two. That brings us to probably the easiest group with Slovenia, Serbia, England, and Denmark. It's pretty clear England is going to top this group. I think they have a lot of quality in this side. I think I have more faith in them than Jamie Carragher does as well, and so they're going to top this group. Slovenia and Serbia, I think, are going to fight it out for the third and fourth spots, but I think there is enough quality in this Denmark side to come in second. They're not great either. I think it could be any of these three again, but I'm going to go Denmark, Slovenia, because there's a guy on that team with the same name as me, and then in fourth place, Serbia. Group D. So I think this group is really going to be a sleeper for one of the most exciting matches or periods during the group stage of this entire tournament with France, Netherlands, Poland, and Austria. There's a lot of quality in each one of these sides, but I think the clearest thing is who's going to come in fourth, and it's going to be Poland. Now, it's not necessarily where my heart is, but I don't think Lewandowski is who he was a few years ago, and I don't think he can carry this side. We saw that in qualifying. They just weren't great the entire time, and so I don't think they're going to be able to stand up against the Netherlands or France and an up-and-coming Austria. But I could see Austria taking points off the Netherlands and potentially France as well. Now, I could see the French and the Netherlands team flip-flopping here, but realistically, I think it's a wash either way, and you got to go with the team that has shown the past few years where it's been incredible. And so I have the France team making it through here, but the Netherlands squad is also very solid. We saw them make a decent run in the World Cup, and it could have been even better if Argentina were just slightly off their game that day. So it's going to be tight. It's going to be a really good matchup, though, seeing those two big countries go against each other. I'm excited. Frankie de Jong, I'll be with you. I'll be rooting for you in that one. Now, Group B, I think it's going to be pretty basic. I think Belgium is going to make it through. They're not fantastic this year. I think they are going to struggle through a couple of these games, but I don't think there is enough quality in the other teams to really take points off them and worry them. I'm going to have Ukraine coming in second because I think they can be underdogs for this tournament. There's a lot of chemistry there, a lot of excitement, and so I think they can surprise a couple people, not only in the group stage, but potentially with an underdog performance in the round of 16 as well. Rounding it off, Romania and Slovakia, I think it could go either way. I'm going to go with Slovakia third, Romania in fourth. I don't have enough information to accurately predict either one of them, though, and I'm not going to pretend like I do. Group F is going to be another interesting little matchup there. Not for the first spot because it's going to go to Portugal, but for the next three, I think it could go either way. I'm going to put the Czech Republic in second because I think there is just more quality throughout that squad, even if it isn't supremely fantastic or more fantastic than Turkey. But Turkey I'm going to put in third, and then fourth place it's going to be Georgia. I don't think there's enough quality throughout it besides Kvaratskhelia, who hasn't been the same animal that he was last season. He was pretty good, but I don't think he is enough to carry that team out of this group. 4th place for them. But now we get to the 3rd place rankings, and for those of you guys who don't know, since the tournament was expanded this year, the top 4 out of the 6 performing 3rd place teams will make it out of their group as well, going into the knockout stage. For this, there are a couple things we have to take into account. Their entire group as a whole, if they're going to be able to take points off those top teams, because effectively, if both the bottom 2 teams don't really get any points except off of each other, they're probably not going to make it through. And so for them to make it through, you want to see more quality there in this side. And that means I'm going to put Croatia first. I think of any of the groups that there is a chance that the 3rd place team can take points off the top 2, it's going to be this Croatia side in that group. It's a tough group. There's a lot going on. There's going to be a lot of stress. And so I don't think Spain or Italy are running away with it. And so whoever comes in that group, I think whoever is going to come in 3rd is going to take points away. So for the next 2 spots, I'm going to take Hungary and Turkey. I think both of these teams have enough quality to come in 2nd, let alone 3rd in their groups. And so they're going to take points away from some teams. It might not be the 1st place team, but it will be enough, in my opinion, to make them get through. And that leaves us with Austria, Slovakia, and Slovenia. Now, I think I'm going to have to go with Austria at the bottom of these groups. I don't think they're going to make it through. They have too tough of a group to really make an impact or make a dent. But I think Slovakia has a better chance in a weaker group to win points. So they're going to come in top there, and then Slovenia. All right, so now we've got all of the matches for the knockout stages, and we can see just how important those 3rd place qualifiers really are, because it'll match up the best teams with who they're actually competing against. And so if a big team comes in 3rd and scrapes through, we might have an insane round of 16 matchup. I don't really think that's going to happen, but you know, it would be very exciting to see. But for our first matchup, it's going to be Denmark versus Germany. I think it's pretty cut and dry. I have a feeling Germany are going to be very solid throughout this tournament, and so I'm going to have them going through against Denmark. It's a pretty simple prediction. Next is Italy versus Scotland. Again, I think Scotland would even be lucky to get out of this group. I'm second-guessing my opinion to have them get out at all, but I'm going to stick with it. But Italy's going to beat them. I don't think Italy is great either, but I think they're going to get through against Scotland. But Spain versus Slovakia, I think Spain can be underdogs. As I said earlier, they're going to go through against Slovakia pretty easily. For England versus Turkey, I think it's going to be more competitive than you probably think it is, but England's going to get through. It's a pretty easy prediction from there. Same story for Portugal versus Hungary. I think Hungary could do it, but I'm going to stick with my guns, go with the easy prediction, is Portugal. Netherlands versus the Ukraine. Again, I'm going to stick with my guns. I think the Netherlands can be really good this tournament. I've said the Ukraine could do pretty good things as well, but I'm going to stick with my boy Frankie and have them going through here. But I honestly would like to see Ukraine make it too with Dovbyk. I really support these guys from Girona. Belgium versus Croatia. Now, I've said earlier, I don't think either one of these teams is what they used to be. So I think it's going to be a match of not has-beens, but it would have been more interesting to watch this game unfold a few years ago. I'm going to hold Croatia through against Belgium. I think Belgium could make it as well. It's just, I've got a feeling in my gut, if this matchup happens, Croatia's going to make it out and Belgium won't. That leaves us with France versus the Czech Republic. I'm doing exactly what Jamie Carragher did and not going with a single underdog. That feels weird to me. I always want to predict one, but it's not happening in this tournament. I guess you could say Croatia would be one because Belgium is always really high in the FIFA World Ranking for some reason, but I'm going to say France is making it through. It's easy. This leaves us with some pretty spicy quarterfinals. Again, no real surprises here. I don't think this is the year of the underdog. It would be nice for it to be, but I don't think it will be. Spain versus Germany is the first one that I'm going to disagree with Jamie on. I don't think Germany are fantastic. We just saw them draw against, I think, Hungary a few days ago, so I am going to actually have Spain go through against Germany. Both teams can be lackluster, I guess you could argue. So I'm going to say Spain just because I'm going to go with what I want and honestly just go against Jamie's prediction. Next is Portugal v Netherlands. I think Portugal can actually make a run here. I have never been a big proponent of that team. I've never had much faith in them. But this year, I think they can. As I said, I think the Netherlands can as well. It's going to be a good matchup, but I think Portugal's gonna figure it out. Croatia v France. Now, what I've set up here is a recap of the 2018 World Cup, and we all know what happens there. I don't think this Croatia side is the same thing that was able to put in a couple of goals against France. Croatia's losing. It's gonna be France. They have the deepest squad in world football. I think it's gonna be pretty simple for them to make it all the way to the semis this year. So I'm having them go through against Croatia, which leaves us with another final rematch with England versus Italy. I think it's going to be pretty simple here. I think England's making it through this time. They're just going to figure it out, and they're going to be dangerous this tournament in a way I don't see Italy doing the same way. That leaves us with some pretty exciting semifinal matchups. Now, I think they would be better if Germany were in it, but I think if Germany comes up against Spain, Spain will do it against them. But against Portugal, I don't know for sure. I'm gonna go with Portugal. I want Spain to make it through as a Spanish football fan, but I think it's gonna be Portugal. I think they're just gonna figure it out again. And that leaves us again with this France versus England matchup that we can never seem to escape. It seems just inevitable that Mbappe is gonna have to come up against Bellingham here, but I'm gonna hold England to finally put it together against them and figure it out. I'm going against what Jamie said, the Englishman said. I'm gonna take England. I think they have the depth as well. They have so much star power going forward and they can figure it out. And then I have England beating Portugal. I don't think Portugal or Spain are good enough to beat England or France. And only if Germany makes it through here do I think England and France really have a threat of being upset. Both of those teams are so good. There's so much depth in both of them. And so realistically, only a Germany that's at home, that has a ton of excitement can do it. I don't think Spain could, and I don't think Portugal is good enough yet. I have a feeling it's going to be another boring year of Spain or France or England doing really well. And so I'm going to have England doing it. But yeah, let me know what your predictions are. If I'm wrong, if I'm terribly wrong. And I'll see you in the next video where I'd go on a date with Thierry Henry and Kate Abdo.